Good morning from Ahsenqazi or good afternoon wherever you are. So thank you very much for joining me for this webinar. We are here to talk about dealing with difficult people and how the colored brain can help you. So just sit back, relax, okay. Take out a piece of paper if you want, but I just want you to, just pay attention for the next, 45 minutes to an hour. So there'll be question and answers in the end, and I welcome your question and answers, and of course there'll be a bonus as well. So with this, let's move ahead. Okay. A brief introduction about me. I'm Ahsenqazi. Okay, and I'm a speaker. Okay, and also I'm an author, and also I'm certified by Directive Communication, which ranks eighth in the world in leadership programs. I also done programs on economy and business on Rose TV. You can always Google me if you want. You can find out more. This is my book recently published. This is business success. Okay. So if you want to achieve more in your life, okay, achieve success through positive actions, influence others, influence your team, get ahead. So this book is a must for you. It's only $7. Yeah, not much money, but I'm going to reduce it further. Okay, now. So this book will be available to you for only $4. So consider, visiting the page. You can always Google Ahsenqazi and business success. Okay, Google it, Kindle books, and you'll find a link to get there. Okay, this is another book I published in 2016. It's on entrepreneurship. Okay, it's also available on Amazon. Okay, so you can have a look at that as well. Okay, now the programs which we offer, here in the company are leadership programs. Just picture is there. So team development is also a favorite. Cultural change. Okay, people want to change the culture of their company from a low performance culture to a high performance culture. Work gamification, a new concept which is revolutionary, and also goal setting programs for those people or those companies who want to excel, and have measurable and achievable goals. So, brief introduction. Thank you very much for joining me. I can see people joining. So, there's a poll as well. So, please, I would like you to please, you can do the poll if you want. There's question and answers as well. Let me just share the poll with you. Okay, now wherever you're joining, just tell us briefly that you joined from Islamabad or you joined from whatever place, and uh, you know which area do you work in? Do you work in business development? Do you work in human resources? Do you work in marketing? So that would be fine. Let's just say, just like Ilyas works in marketing. So please write down in the chat so that we can get to know more about the people that are joining this program. Okay, now so these are some programs, some pictures, of me of different programs. I've done programs in Malaysia, and also on entrepreneurship, on work gamification, and of course the leadership program using the colored brain. So there's a bonus for people. Okay, guys, there's a bonus. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. So there's a bonus, and the bonus is $100 bonus for you and for somebody else, and how you compare to each other. So that's the bonus for two people and how they relate to each other. So get this bonus if you stay till the end. It's easy to, you just have to answer a question, and I'll let you know. So let's just move on now. Okay, so difficult people. Okay, now difficult people can be a handful. Okay, and sometimes it really becomes difficult. The situation becomes difficult. The people are difficult, and it can lead to a lot of problems. But remember, if you can deal well with difficult people, if you can do well in a situation that is bad, so you can have much more success. Instead of ruining that situation, you could make it better just by your actions or by what you do. So we're here to talk about this. Okay. So difficult people can be they can be your co-worker, that sometimes you're working with somebody that you don't get along with, so you're having a difficult time, there's no teamwork, things are going wrong. So co-workers in your office, okay, or even in your university projects, you've realized that if you get along well with some people, and with some people it's really, really hard for you to get along. So some tips on that as well. Um, and okay, so this guy is like, oh, he's like maybe like Donald Trump or somebody, is like really difficult person. He's a difficult boss. So he's always demanding, and his secretary is always, she's running around and stuff. So this guy is a typical boss. You can call him Seth in Pakistani environment, or you can call him a difficult boss. Right. Okay, in a multinational company. So he's always pushing, always demanding. Um, okay. So I want you to now just relax and just recall the time that you had to deal with a difficult person. Why he or she was difficult? Why they were difficult? Okay. Did they do something and that made you upset? Did they upset you? Were you angered? Were you annoyed, or did you feel pity for yourself, or did you feel worthless? Whatever. Okay, just recall that. Maybe you can write it down on the paper. All right. You don't have to tell us about the incident, but I'm just maybe just focusing on the exact time that this thing happened, and how did you react? Uh, did you pick up a fight? Did you scuffle? Did you fight, or did you flight? Did you extricate from that situation? And how did it leave you? I can recall a few moments in my life, when I was really, really taken aback. Something happened, somebody did something. Yeah, once I was in Saudi Arabia and I wasn't happy. So I didn't like that. Still, once I recall that incident, I feel like, just hitting that person, or just doing something bad with that. But because he was bad. He treated me in a bad way. Shouted at me for nothing. So I felt humiliation. So what I want you to do is just maybe just tell us briefly about that. What happened to you in that program, in that scenario. Okay, now thank you very much. I can see some people sharing stuff. So please do share. That's why we are here to discuss these things and maybe learn from each other. In the process. So difficult situation and difficult people. So human beings either they fight just like these two guys. Like they're fighting. Okay, they're fighting with each other. They're trying to pick up because they're biting their teeth like this. I shot you out. You did this. So they're really emotional, or they would just turn away. I don't care. I don't want to talk to this guy. I don't care. Forget it. You know. So this is the fight mechanism. Sorry, people are fighting with each other, and this is like they don't care. They just extricate, they just move aside. So this is the flight mechanism. People are just getting away from each other. So okay, this is a typical example of a difficult situation. Now, human beings, okay, remember behavioral intelligence, okay, now is all about analyzing the existing behaviors of somebody, all right, and then whenever you encounter somebody, you influence them in some way. You influence them in some way, All right, that can be a positive way, that can be a negative way, that can be a neutral way. There can be a positive way, there can be a negative, and there can be a neutral. So if somebody is really, really, flared up and all that, so you better not, entice them further. So how can you also control your own behavior? Okay, that's also important because dealing with that person, if you lose control and if he loses control as well, then there's a big problem. So if somebody loses control, you better start gaining control of yourself and remain composed. you know just think instead of reacting. Okay, acting intelligently instead of reacting. So from that, the future behavior of that person will change. But if you just fuel that behavior, that will create more problems. Okay, now we've seen a few examples and few scenarios right now. You've discussed, you've shared your perspective on all of this, and we realize that sometimes it is beyond us, and we are faced with these difficult people. A difficult co-worker, he's become nasty because of something that happened, or something he didn't like, or something happened at his house, or something, he's having a bad patch in his life. So you got this difficult co-worker, or you got this difficult boss who's demanding, who's pushing, and who's also who's not happy with you and stuff. So how can you maneuver, and how can you make it better for yourself so that that doesn't happen again? Or how could you steer out of that situation and maybe come back and repair that relationship? Because the more success you have with relationships in your life, okay, the more success you can have. So relationships are important. If you are in customer services, if you are in selling, or even if with your family, with your friends, if you have good relationships, you can have good results. So all this is basically we're trying to have good relationships with our associated people. So the colored brain, it helps you promote understanding of yourself and of others. So how can you understand yourself, that how am I going to react? What am I going to do? If I know in advance, if somebody does something and which triggers something bad in me, so I should know that I'm vulnerable to this sort of person. Somebody shouts at you or somebody misbehaves with you. So, that can happen. And also what others, understanding others. So what is the reason, what is the underlying factor for somebody who's acting in a certain way? Maybe they had a fight with somebody at home, or maybe they're worried because of financial problems, or etc., etc. There can be so many underlying factors. But right now we're going to discuss is how to deal with that situation. So the colored brain, you might have heard of this. Okay, now I'm going to explain it and how it can help you deal with such an explosive situation, or how it can make it better, and how you can promote greater understanding. So as you know, human beings are different. Okay, so human beings have their brains function in a different way. No two human beings are the same, but there are similarities. So based on how the brain works, or how the brain gets ambiguity relief, the human beings are divided into four basically parts. Okay, the behaviors they exhibit. So green brain, chaotic; red brain, all right, linear processing; purple brain, okay, relational processing; and blue brain, intuitive processing. Now let me explain all of this briefly. Okay, so green brain, nothing is connected. So this guy is trying to do a few things, a few things, like he is doing some marketing, and he's doing some sales, and he's doing some other stuff. So it's like a chaos that's going on. He's doing a few things, and none of them are connected. So if you look at the brain, the action processor, how does it look? So if you can see, this is the information, all right, I actions, man is running, and the analysis. Okay, this is a microscope of analysis. Okay, now here it is interesting. So pay attention. Now he's got some information or she's got some information. All right, this person, and now without getting a lot of information, they will start taking action, start taking action, start taking. And after they realize, oh my God, oh I need more information, I need more analysis. So they will just analyze a little bit, all right, and then they will get some more information, all right, and after then they will start working. So it's a chaos, so it's a chaos of information, of analysis, and of action. So all right, I'm sure you've met people like this. Okay, now green brain, in summary, nothing is connected. So they're doing this and they're doing this. They're driving their car and maybe they're smoking, or they're driving their car and talking on their mobile, or maybe they're typing something and talking to a friend. So yeah, it's like, they're doing a few things. Okay. Or now they get clarity through action. All right. They take actions. That's how they get clarity. Analysis, yeah, a little bit of analysis, but it's more of an action. All right. So they need feedback. These people need feedback. We need to give them feedback. All right, in order for them to maybe correct themselves. All right, so they see the big fuzzy picture. All right, need to see experiences. They need to feel the experience, to share the experiences. All right, to in order to move ahead, they get over things quickly. So if they make a mistake, so it's very easy for them to just pack up the bags and start moving to the next project, next task. So they get over things quickly. They don't have a problem. In case they do something wrong, it's really easy for them to correct that thing. Okay, or okay, they make more mistakes, but it's easier for them to recover from mistakes. All right. So these are green brain, all right, people. Now linear, or now we have red brain. All right. So red brain are logical, structured. So you can see, they got this structure, all right, some decisions, some processes, decisions, and then they move on to the next step, and then they get this idea. So these people are more logical, all right. So how does the brain work? So they get some information, and they'll get some more information and more information and more. It's not the complete information, but it's a fair chunk of information, and they would analyze that information. Okay, they'll spend some time, but the thing to remember is, if you don't give them enough information, red brains will not be able to process that. So if you're in customer sales, if you're in customer services, if somebody is asking you for information, yeah, you should give that information. All right. So once they've got analyzed, and they've got the information and they've analyzed everything, then they would start taking action. Okay, they will start taking actions, and they'll get to the end. So these are red band. All right, so they need clarity. They're structured. They need a structure. They need a program, a timetable, to follow. Their objective. All right. So there have to be goals and objectives set up. They get clarity through analysis. So they analyze, reflect on problems before taking action. They have a long-term perspective. They look at the long-term perspective of something. All right. So sometimes they appear more insensitive because they are more concerned about the structure than the people. They wouldn't really worry much about the people, but they would worry more about the structure. Okay. Sometimes they can be insensitive. So they make less mistakes because they spend time on analysis on all this. So they make less mistakes than others. And of course, they take longer to recover from mistakes because they spent all this time and deliberation and working it out. So if there's a mistake, so it's a little bit longer for these people to recover from the mistakes. Now, Socrates was a red brain. By the way, I'm also a red brain, and Know who you are, know the world, and be true to your nature. So just be true to your nature. You can't really hide your nature, whatever is there, okay, whatever brain processes are there. So just follow them. All right, now intuitive processing. With intuitive processing, all right, these people they work on intuition. They have a sixth sense which is very, very strong. Okay, a very strong sixth sense with these people. And what goes on in their brain? So it's analysis information. So they will just analyzing things, getting information, analyzing information, information. And after spending a fair time on analyzing and getting information, they would start taking actions and then action. So it's a mix of but remember, they would work, they have a strong sixth sense, they're customer focused. So everything is connected through sensitivity. How sensitive is something? Is the how sensitive is the boss? How sensitive is the customer? How sensitive is the manager? How sensitive is your dad? How sensitive is your friend? So it's all basically sensitivity, sensitive to surrounding and environment. So you're sensitive to your surrounding, to your environment. All right, they're sensitive to all those things. Insightful, intuitive. Okay, so these people are naturally multitasking people. They have the ability to multitask. So they might be doing something in front of you, but actually they're planning something else at the back of their mind. Maybe they've planned some other project or what they're going to do in the evening, or they're going to enjoy the weekend. So these are blue brain people. All right. So they may take on other problems because they would really put themselves in others' shoes, and they may take on other problems, and they make decisions based on intuition. All right, and they are intuitive with people, and of course with groups as well. Now, relational processing for purple brand. So purple brand is probably the most interesting. So these people they would relate everything to everything else. All right. Total relational processing, they would relate everything to everything else. So these purple brain, they need a lot of information. I mean a lot. Yes, it is a lot. And all that information takes a long time. So for example, there's somebody who's red brain like me and there's purple brain, right? They're working together and they will ask you for some information. And then they will ask me for some information. And I'll give them that information. Now I would expect them to start working. But they'll come back and say, okay, I need more information. And I'll give some more information. But then again, they will come back and then they will ask me for more. By the time I'm fed up because I'm red brain, I need results. I need to see some things. I need a structure, you know. And this guy is just asking me for information, but he wouldn't take any action. I said, for God's sake, start doing something now, because it's high time. But that's not how they operate. These people are basically research and development type people who take a lot of time to do research. But because they have spent all this time getting information, they have the complete information. They would just analyze that and they would just take action. But the thing to remember is you need to be patient with these people. Okay. So everything is connected through data. All right. They're detailed. They must know all the options, right? All the options. They are difficult. It would be difficult for them to delegate. They would start doing everything themselves. They wouldn't delegate to others. They wouldn't delegate to the secretary or to the manager and stuff. They'd like to do everything themselves. All right. So orderly, yeah, okay. Misunderstood. Sometimes they're misunderstood and insensitive. Usually take long to make decisions. Of course, they need to absorb all that information. Of course, it's going to take a lot of time. Now, we have a scenario. Now, this is interesting. So, we have a scenario where, there's a boss who's green brain, right? Remember, green brain are impulsive, all right? Chaotic, all right? That's what the green brain people are. And the secretary who's detail oriented, all right, and not expressive, but slow, but very, very deliberate. So the boss called the secretary. Okay, secretary, please, can you can you come over? Yeah, can you please help me with this? So she goes. Okay, now I want you to make a report. Okay, secretary, I want you to make a report, and this report, all right, it needs to be just, yes, a small report. Okay, and just give me the important things, the important factors, that determine the success of the company, and maybe just I need it by Monday. All right, so just give me the facts, just give me the details. All right, so this secretary, she goes back. All right, she goes back, she goes back to her office, and then she starts working, and she's taking out information and putting that in the report, and lot of structure, lot of detail, lots of options, on the report. And she spent the complete weekend doing it. She spent the complete her time. She's left everything, because she wants to impress the boss, all right, through this. And on Monday morning, she knocks the door of the boss. Okay, boss, can I come in? Yes, please have a seat. So boss, I have done this report, and it's a big report of, like, 150 pages, 200 pages. She's done a big report. All details and annexes and stuff are there in the report. And the green secretary, oh my God, what have you done? Such a big report. How am I going to read this report? Oh my God! I just wanted the bare minimum facts. I just wanted the essentials, and you've given me all this. How am I going to do? I have to do so much stuff. So remember, he's chaotic. So I have to do, I do this and I do this. So he starts panicking, and the boss is not happy with the secretary, and the secretary says, "Oh my God. Okay. So I've done so much work, and how come he's not happy? Because I've put in my heart and soul. And things start deteriorating from that point onwards. All right. So we could avoid this situation easily. Yeah, that this thing could have been avoided easily, because if only if you knew how the person processes information, if you knew their colored brain, if you had if you knew how they work, what they like, okay, this thing could have been avoided. The secretary would not have been disappointed, and the boss would have got what he wanted. All right. So also the colored brain helps you identify potential areas which can create conflict, and maybe create a greater understanding, okay, by using the colored brain. Now, so remember, once you're using the colored brain, some people, the green brain, they're too impulsive, like this boss. He wasn't really careful, was he? He was not careful at all. He was just, maybe impulsive, and maybe just a little insulting sometimes. That was bad, And also the purple brain, the secretary, yeah, she was not expressive, a little bit slow, but very deliberate. All right. So once there's something good, there's something bad. So once there's a drawback, all right. So there's something good to look for that in that person as well. So remember that. Okay. Now, too logical, blue brain, all right, not logical, and too soft. So all right. So that's something who's more custom oriented. Not logical, but really, really good with people. Blue people are really good with people. Now, too rigid, not sensitive to others, that's red brain. So they're just more concerned about the structure. So just remember what you're dealing with. Okay, what is your boss? Remember the colored brain and treat him according to that. Okay, now we've discussed discussed some problems, some difficult people, and one of them was the boss. All right. Now let me give you some solution, which could help you crack once you deal with such people. And how could you, maybe utilize those, but utilize these points, and how could you apply them into your life? So the first thing is, once there's something, something wrong is going on, this situation is difficult, so don't react. Remain silent. Silence is an option. Okay. Be quiet. Don't fuel. Don't fuel it. Don't fuel that behavior. All right. So remember also separate the behavior from the person. That person might be annoyed, or he might be, angry, or he might be disappointed for a certain time, of that day, or maybe he's disappointed because of something, maybe something going on, because of there might be an underlying reason. But remember, he'll not be like that all the time. All right. So we need to separate the behavior. The behavior, the person is fine, okay, but the behavior is wrong. So separate the behavior from the person, okay. Don't label the person that he's always like this. He might not be. So that's the first thing. Don't stereotype. Remember that. All right. So now once you've started engaging this person, now you know you need to redirect the energy, the negative energy that is going on to something, into something that is positive. That is, for example, the secretary, the boss is annoyed with secretary. All right. So maybe she can ask questions. Boss, can I get you a cup of tea? All right. Would you like to read a newspaper? How can I help you make it better? You know, I need to do this for you. So what are you doing? What is she trying to do? She is trying to redirect the focus onto something else. The same way, once there's a kid or infant who's annoyed because he's broken his toy, so his mother will come and she will give him some chocolate, some sweets, and he will start crying. Oh, I've broken my toy. What is the way? So she will give him, maybe another toy to play with. All right. Maybe she will give him a chocolate. All right. So all these things are redirecting the focus. The same thing you can do, with your boss, with your coworker. Maybe redirect once there's something wrong. So redirect the focus onto something which is good, okay, which they like. So talk about those things, okay, redirecting the focus. So that's very important. In fact, that is the key. All right. Now, knowing when to be assertive. So you can't be assertive all the time. Sometimes you're quiet, but maybe you need to be assertive at some certain times just to make the situation better. All right. So listening. Once you've done some redirecting behavior, then maybe you need to listen. For example, there's an angry customer, who starts shouting, "What is your company doing? Oh, your company is a mess. You've ruined my bill. You ruined my program and stuff. I don't want to use your company for this service anymore." So this is an angry customer. So you ask him, and then you keep quiet and then you listen. All right. So the art of listening is really, really effective. Sometimes, yes, it is very effective because all the anger is coming out, and and once you've listened and the person has talked for some time, maybe then you can say, "Sir, how can I help you in this way? So, as I understand, you have this problem, and how can I serve you better?" So, in this way, you see, that person will calm down and he'll, show some genuine concern, and that person will realize, oh, this guy is really concerned. This person is really, really concerned about me. Okay, so these are the behaviors. So what behaviors will lead to success? Okay, remaining calm. All right, practicing redirective questions once something goes wrong, not reacting. All right, focusing on the positive. So these are all the behaviors which will lead you to success. Okay, now the bonus. Okay, so as I talked about, we have a bonus, and basically, it's a simple question you have to answer. All right, how the colored brain will help me handle a difficult situation. So you have a difficult situation. So how the color? Because if you know about the red brain people, the green brain and the blue brain, the purple brain, you know how they want things done. So if it's a purple brain boss, he wants more detail. If it's red, they want structure, all right, okay, and etc. etc. So by analyzing that, I'm giving you the answer as well. Okay, so by analyzing that, you can answer this question, and we can have a complementary assessment. So you'll be doing that colored brain, yeah, the assessment, and then we can have a discussion. Okay, we can connect through yeah, a meeting like this, and then we could analyze both of you, that how both of you are comparing to each other, and what can be the areas of conflict, the and concern, and what can be the areas of cooperation, how could you work together, and where can be the collaboration. So it's really interesting, and it could really help you a lot, in your relationships, at work, at home, in business, and everywhere in your life. Okay, now about difficult people, and if you need something to know, something more about team building or any other stuff, that we do. So please give us an email. We'll be happy to follow up with you. You can look at the website. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the program. You'll get a copy of this recording. So thank you very much. Take care and all the best.